We came here to put a program together to implement a system that could be both successful in the short term, which I think we were, and especially in the long term. And I think a year later or a season later, we can look at, the things that we started to do. And that's to talk about what we want this basketball program to be about. And so when the word Virginia basketball is mentioned, it creates a picture, and not just our players or people around here, but hopefully sooner rather than later, a picture in everybody across the country's mind as to how we play the game and what we're going to be about. So from that standpoint, I can look at it with some sense of accomplishment that we were able to start to do that. Unique in this situation is because other than Billy, we have everybody coming back. We can talk about it in terms of the future, and part of talking about the future was to let them know what they did in the present, and that was to go far beyond what most people had expected from them. But we don't really get caught up so much in that, is that we were able to get close to maximizing ourselves and our abilities. And I think for that, they should be really proud of themselves for. And it's what I asked of them at the beginning of the season. And now that they've done that and they've gotten a little bit of taste of what that can, by doing that, how successful they can be, to make sure that in the offseason they really work their tails off at going beyond where they had finished up this year. When you look at every team in this league, it's filled with a lot of talent, top to bottom. You look at the team that finished in last place, and that Wake Forest that had two, all-league players in the preseason, and Justin Gray and Eric Williams will be successful far beyond college. And so every team, has some tremendous options and also depth. And we didn't have the kind of depth that I thought a team needs to be able to compete successfully over the long haul, and not just a 16-game ACC season, but over a season. And I think we've got to continue to get the guys that are returning better so that they can better attack the rigors of the schedule, but then obviously add some pieces to the puzzle to allow us to continue to move forward. My vision for the ACC, just from watching it from afar or competing against a team or two along the way, was that it was a very athletic league, it was a very skilled league, and it was a very talented league, and got all that and more. But what I didn't factor in was that it was an extremely physical league as well. And that's where I think we were hindered a lot of times, because we got beat up more occasions than we need to. And so in preparing for next year's ACC season, that's one thing we've got to address. But the level of competition is supreme. When you go on the road, you take your life into your own hands, and every school has a fan base on their particular campus that helps the team win. And there aren't very many teams, if any, in this league that you're going to show up, you're going to find a half-empty building. Everybody on their particular campus supports the basketball program, and I think that is unique to this league. And again, the greatness of the coaches and how prepared they are is something that we really got to continue to get better at. But I like to think that, any coach who returns everybody has a little bit of advantage, no matter, if it's with us, 8 guys or 10 guys, or if you have all 13 coming back. But I think that's an advantage. I think we'll get, as you mentioned, a little extra boost, because if we are able to get people excited about our program now, hopefully that will continue to grow as we move across the street and get even more people excited about what we're doing. And so it's my hope that we can capture that, carry the responsibility of that, and making sure that we work extremely hard to give our fan base, our university, and especially these players, the chance to have a really successful year next year. I think the first game of the year, just getting started off the right way, where there were so many question marks, and being able to although it was a team that we were on paper better than, to be able to dominate in our first game out. And I know for me in particular, I'll remember that as a great starting point. And then, different highlights during the year, both in terms of victories, and obviously the North Carolina game comes to mind. Beating Virginia Tech 3 times comes to mind, and one of those 3 victories being in the ACC tournament, which is always a tough place to get wins at. Boston College, a team that's still playing right now, that win comes to mind. But more importantly, I think the accomplishments come with growth, and that happened almost incrementally day by day in practice. And so I'll remember some of the positive practice sessions we had where guys were learning and getting better and competing at a level which allowed them to get better. We're giving the guys some time right now to take a step away from basketball, concentrate on getting back on the right foot academically, which I think is critical. And as much travel time as we had to endure over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I think it's critical to do that, to let their bodies recover, because we ask so much of them. And then once we start up, to allow Sean Brown to do the job that he came here to do, which is to improve everybody's body cardiovascularly, strength-wise. And we really need to do a good job of injury prevention issues and get particular parts of each guy's body better and get their skill development better and just a lot of things pertaining to them individually. And I think Sean, obviously his record speaks for itself in terms of his accomplishments in getting guys to do things that will make them better. And so it'll be a very busy offseason for us, not only with the guys that are returning, but once the summer hits and we get the new people in here and try to get them aboard and do what we need for them to do to get prepared. The guys, and I told them at the end of the season that it's going to be as taxing, as demanding an off season as it was a regular season, because we want to be the best that we can be, and when we show up for practice in October, we really want to hit the ground running.